Is Deadzone Rogue the next best thing in looter-shooter roguelikes, standing tall alongside Gunfire Reborn in RoboQuest? Or is it just a shadow of their greatness? Let's find out. Welcome to Neural Delve, where we dissect games through the analytical lens of design philosophy and the why behind the fun. Let's break this genre down. It's a shooter, you aim and shoot things. It's a looter, enemies drop loot you pick up and upgrade with. And it's a roguelite, meaning you lose progression when you die, but unlike a roguelike, you keep things like currency or unlocks between runs. That's long-term progression. And we'll come back to this later. So, let's delve. So this is where you start upgrades. I would say this is serviceable. Obviously we have here superior items and synergies, which I can't yet use. It is in zone 2 and 3. I will update on that, but I gather resources to which I can update my defenses, damage, and utility. When you enter a room, you are starting it in stealth mode, and there is no limitation to it. I can go wherever I want, how long I want. You can scour ahead, put any explosive wherever you want. You can actually take explosive from the previous level, only one though, and then you just decide how do you strike first. Opposingly, you can actually decide, you know what, I'm not going to scout anything, I'm just going to go gun blazing, and that's perfectly fine, and I've done that for half the rooms. I do think they should incentivize you to do that. For example, if you stealth 3 seconds or less, you get a boost to damage, to health, to XP, to currency. I really think it's a very good starting weapon. Also, you'll see I can zoom in my view, I can zoom out. So I love it because, you know, it's very customizable to your choice. However, weapon identity kind of fades out in that regard. It's not like Borderlands where you can find the same weapon with 7 different scope types that fit your playstyle. And also, it works the same for both weapons. So it remembers your zoom in. So if you have a shotgun and a sniper, the zoom in configuration, oh, that was funny. The zoom in configuration will be kept for both. Enemy diversity. You have this missile dude. This one heals it. This is a flying enemy, the normal goons that I also can kill with 1 melee hit. These fire kind of grenades on the floor at you. These are mines. This is a turret that will fire at you from a long distance. So you see here the amount of armor I have and exactly what it does. So it reduces the amount of damage I'm taking by a percentage. So I know exactly what the armor is giving me.
Details matter.
If I dash, you'll see right here that I see all the buffs and debuffs. So I have 2 buffs when I dash. One is for a second, makes me faster. One is for 3 seconds, that makes the grenade stronger. When you start a run, there's always some type of class, right? For Hades, you choose a starting weapon. For RoboQuest, you choose the robot. Gunfire Reborn, you choose the character with the special actions. In here, you don't have that. You start a class, you start the run classless. You actually choose the specific augment you want, and this would be your class because you can choose only one of these. One example I can also show here is not aiming down sights. I love it. I love games that also reward you for a specific build where you just don't want to aim. I don't think I even have a base crit chance for weapons, and I don't know what is the crit damage multiplier. The currency that drops on the floor from enemies, they stay forever, they do not disappear. In games like RoboQuest, these tend to disappear after a while, which means you have to be also more aggressive. This game, I think, doesn't force that, which is fine, but then it begs the question, why are they on the floor to begin with? Damage scaling and HP sponges. I think it's fine. Like, I am in with a level 1 weapon, and if I headshot, I do a decent amount of damage, I would say. And they do get more HP as you go. So it would be like, you know, Borderlands HP scaling. It did not feel too bad for me. You do need to work on your build because a lot of perks give you damage multiplier. So you will do 2 times the damage, 4 times the damage, you know, if you hit an elemental debuffed enemy in the head after reloading while shooting from the back. It's not exactly damage on Tuesdays, as it was the case with Diablo 4 before the Season 4 of Loot Reborn. But you do need to think a bit of situational damage. Just want to showcase this enemy for a sec, which rushes at you. What I love about it is that it has a shield, right? But it's not invincible. I can shoot it from the side, or I can be very, very precise and perhaps get a shot at him at the leg or at the leg while this happens. Let's try like this, right? I even got a crit hit. Every few levels, I think every 3 levels, you can checkpoint, which would be like a save and exit, right? Classic Diablo 2 style, which means you can continue from this point. You have what is called a Fabricator. Purchase items, upgrade them, or upgrade armor. A lot of times you have proc you need, and you can also reroll affixes. And upgrading armor, which I usually do, each 100 armor is 1% damage reduction. When you are in the Fabricator, you see all your perks, augments, and items. So you don't need to get out, look to inventory, it's here. An example build, Augment, which is, I would say, your class, aiming elemental. So while ADS, enemies are outlined, and you gain 75% proc chance and deal 50% elemental proc damage. Here, for example, I have lifesteal with a shotgun, which is very good because I can proc it at a higher chance. Primary perks. So you can choose up to 3. For example, here, this is a grenade primary perk. So it enhances my grenade damage, and as you can see, enemies killed with your grenade have 35 chance to spawn another grenade, which targets the nearest enemy. Secondary perks. It has more damage and bigger explosion radius, and another charge. You start with 1 charge. Here I can actually charge my grenade by holding the button for 2 seconds. This one is amazing for melee builds. Every time I kill with a melee weapon, I enter stealth for 5 seconds, and it increases my damage by 45%. HP primary perk, which increases my HP. I get more health from health globes, and I restore 5% of life on health kills, so kind of a life leech. So elemental debuffs as freezing, burning are more powerful. When health drops below a certain threshold, I become immune for 2 seconds. I take 20% less damage to enemies that are far away. I started with a sniper. I deal more damage to melee enemies. Grenade marks enemies, causing them to take 50% more damage of any damage source. A flashlight. All the elemental statuses are explained. The types of damage, there are different procs, 2 different procs for each one. What is a proc chance? The difference between a weak point damage and a crit chance and the crit damage.
In an investigation, details matter.
Graphics. I've played a few roguelike shooter looters, however they were all cartoonish, went following the Borderlands aesthetic, so to speak. Gunfire Reborn and RoboQuest. And the graphics here are way more realistic. Not saying it's better, it's just what I prefer. And I think this is a good example. Look at the cube that's spinning inside this orb. I do enjoy the fact that when an enemy shoots, that's hitbox. That's good hitboxing for you. In the lower right of the screen here, I have the ammo, but I can reload as much as I want and no ammunition to speak of. The other point is that you need to switch between them or manage when you reload. I love the fact that you can observe your weapons. So if I hit I, this happens, and you kind of observe it. Each item dropped from the floor immediately compares itself to the relevant slot that you have.
In an investigation, details matter.
Loading, health orb. The structure of the level is good. Like I have where to hide, I have chokeholds. It's just that the look and vibe is a bit generic. Can you cheese enemies? Like, can you kite them, make them come towards you? Yes. Like, I'm gonna wait here. Let's see what happens, right? So some enemies really wait, some enemies come for you. Every time I finish, I need to go through all the map to see if I've missed some currency that's not on the floor, or any item or weapon I did not pick up. But I have short-term memory, so I will do it 3 times just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hit a weak spot, its head, with the melee, but I can't. It like doesn't work. Every melee I do is a normal melee, even if I hit its head very, very specifically. So I can either need to decide whether to increase my melee damage by 45% and deal 50% more melee damage when I backstab, or I can choose one of the secondary perks for the health. One is increasing your health, and health orbs that fall sometimes off enemies are automatically collected when dropped. When you lose health, you get more damage, but you still get 50% more damage, more health, sorry. I do like the names. Overclocked core, hairdryer, plastic wand. A bit of humor, perhaps? Your shields recharge faster as you get closer to death. How much faster? What's the basic recharge rate?
Details matter.
Ooh. Let's bring this all together by showing you a gameplay footage highlighting every perk and decision I've made throughout the build. Let's go. I can see the build I've died with. This is not last epoch. I don't know what elemental type killed me, but good to know who did. I can rate the mission. Not sure what they do with it, but that's nice. Is it fun? Yes, it is. I'd recommend it. I'm genuinely enjoying the variety in perks and builds. Whether you're going stealth, sniping, charging in guns blazing, or bashing heads in melee, there's something for it. Moment-to-moment combat feels satisfying, and loot drops stay meaningful across runs. That said, I'd love to see a more forgiving checkpoint system and greater variety in sector layouts. A few more melee weapons wouldn't hurt either, though giving it still in early access, that's understandable. That's it from me. If you enjoyed this dive, hit like and subscribe, and thanks for delving with me.